Hello everyone, SirMonkeySuit is here back again with Hunter Hunter. We're on episode 88, and in the last episode we had Gon and Killua continuous training that they've got going on by keeping on producing their Ren for 3 hours, which they've managed to do, and they are still doing, just consistently doing it so that it becomes second nature to them and they can go 3 hours without really struggling all that much, and then immediately going into a fight with Knuckle every time afterwards. And I believe it's just to prepare them for long battle of attrition kind of fights that in the Chimera, or in the NGL, I should say, when they're facing the Chimera ants. I feel like that must be just what it's for, because if they get tired, they can't afford to let up. They have to keep fighting kind of thing. So there's that. So yeah, the fighting Knuckle. Knuckle is a very good guy. So much so that he's kind of letting the emotions get the better of him, or at least that's what Shoot thinks anyway. And yeah, but Shoot is basically looking on at the fight that is going on with Knuckle right now, and he says that he plans to basically ambush Gon and Killua after that fight ends. So yeah, that's going to be. I imagine that's what's going to come up. But yeah, we're going to see what happens with that. And then we've got the punitive force right now. In the NGL, you've got Nov, who's using a portal kind of system thing to either send them to a different dimension or just teleport them to a different place in the actual physical world, where they can go on and have a one-on-one with Netero, which is, yeah, I was wondering how they were going to do it silently one-on-one, but they figured it out, so that's cool. I love that. And yeah, I don't think there's anything else to really talk about. So yeah, we're just going to get in episode 88 and see what we get. So without further ado, let's go. Okay, episode 88. Fucking hell. Well, what to talk about first? Netero said that he can't completely... Well, he said he possibly can't, which I'm going to assume that he definitely can't, without sacrificing someone, because otherwise, why even say that? So it's going to happen, isn't it? Now, I've got up the thing here of what I assume is the people that one of them's going to end up being sacrificed. Because I don't know why else you would bring up that little... Well, if you can't see what I'm looking at, it's that. Yeah? So... He never discounted himself. He is the oldest, but he's also the strongest out of the lot. And maybe... You see, the thing is that I don't really... I don't know where Netero falls on... Like... Would he be selfless? Because you would think by the way that he is, that he would be, and that he would sort of take it for the team kind of thing. But I don't know. I kind of get this like sort of feeling that you see, I don't know, because Gene said at one point that hunters are inherently like they kind of are selfish, right? He said that. Now I don't know if that would sort of because that can just be from Gene's perspective, and that can just be sort of him. And it's like a different situation, you know. It's like the hunters as one against the Chimera ants, so I don't know if the same rules sort of apply there. But I'm not discounting the fact that he could be just like, well, it's I can be the one to be the sacrifice. If it was me personally right now, judging on characters, I wouldn't be opposed to Morel being the sacrifice or Shoot. I mean, well, no, Shoot's a coward, so I mean the chances of that, I might end up feeling bad for him. But I mean, he's a coward. I mean, how the fuck is he a hunter? Like, how has he even gotten to this position? Being a coward, I've no clue. But also, like, you see, with Knuckle being the way that he is, right? Like, he's a very nice guy. He's a very nice guy. He's a good dude, but clearly he's quite powerful. So with him, I'm not too I'm not questioning the fact that he's under Morel. But Morel was the guy that went to Killua. Like, Morel's the guy to look at hunters and sort of judge them based upon their outlook on what is going on. And I feel like Coward is the last a coward is the last person that he would want to be his underling, you know? Unless that is on purpose to sort of try and change that. I don't know. But I just feel like it's an odd one, isn't it? It's a bit crazy. But yeah, like, I mean, Morel, you know, I find Nov a more likable dude. I'm trying to think of reasons. Go and kill. There's no way. There's no way that's happening. Go and kill our safe. I can see Knuckle possibly just for the fact that he's a nice guy, so it'll hit harder. But you got to think, like, I'm trying to think like what this would be based upon, like, because it's all a question of Netaro's at the head of it, right? So basically he has the say on what they do, right? It's got to be. He's got to be the leader of the group. So he's got to decide exactly what to do. If he is in this position where he says that he can't get this done without sacrificing somebody, then it's a case of whether or not he tells them that he needs to sacrifice somebody, or he does it without their knowledge. Now, I don't know if Netero is like that. So my thought process with it being Knuckle is, if Netero does get all of these people here as a group and says, like, right, I need one person, someone's going to have to sacrifice himself for this. Out of the lot of them, I can almost see Knuckle or Morel possibly going up to do it. Also, Palm. The only reason why that is because I feel like she would do it not for Netero or the mission, but she would do it for Nov, right? So I don't think, you know, I feel like that it's under that. I don't want that to happen because I quite like Palm and I actually want it to stay around. But yeah, Knuckle, I feel like he would possibly give himself up for it, and I feel like Morel possibly would as well, just because of the outlook that they have, like, because they have this sort of arrogance about them that they can take on something. I do wonder, like, what their stance would be if it came down to, like, no, you will, like, it's a sacrifice mission, like, you know, you're not coming out of this, you are going to die. I would wonder what their position on that would be, specifically Morel's, because of the way that he talks about, like, you know, you fight knowing that you'll win. So if he was to go into a situation that is, you know, like, you're almost certain to die, I wonder if he would take that in a sense of, like, well, I'm going to come out with this because I always win, because that's his sort of stance on things. And I'm wondering if that would be the reason why they would pick themselves to be the one, you know. And it's not necessarily being selfless, but mostly them feeling like they can get out of it, you know, like they wouldn't lose anyway and they wouldn't die, even though they said sacrificial, you know. So depending on, I feel like Netero's gonna tell these people that they need a sacrifice. I feel like he is. I don't think he's gonna keep it from them, and I don't think he's the one that's gonna decide who's gonna be the sacrifice. But the only one out of those lot that I would not be sad at this point if they were to sacrifice themselves would be Morel and Shoot. I mean, I think it's possibly a bit unfair on Shoot, considering the fact that we've literally gotten practically nothing with him. We just know that he's a coward, and that's it. You know, so it might be a bit of an unfair sort of call on me for that. You know, Morel, I feel like I said, I feel like he would possibly not really welcome it maybe, but like, you know, I haven't really warmed up to him like I have with Nove, right? So, and it's just not going to be Gonna Kill Her. It's just not going to happen. So out of the remaining ones there, I'm probably going to say Palm. It's because I really like her presence. Like, it's just funny. Knuckle will probably be sad as well, but yeah, I don't know. So yeah, the next thing was we had Kite being puppeted. So that's how they've gone about it. So yeah, it's not a case of like bringing him back to life. He's literally just being puppeted. But like it doesn't. Fuck. I feel so shit about that. Like, he doesn't deserve it, man. Fuck, it's so disrespectful to like that character. But also the fact that like she's doing this on the preface that she can fight him again, but being puppeteered, like there's no way he's going to be on that level that Kite was originally. So she's not going to be happy anyway. This basically just serves as a way for fucking the writer to be a dick and be like, watch this shit, and just fucking torture the viewers. That's what it is. But I did figure that there would be no way you would ever be able to be brought back to life. If he did, he would be essentially brain dead. Like, I don't think he would have been like, you know. But this is the way that they've decided. I don't know how the test tube and the vial thing and the scientist thing that Nefa was doing last episode. I don't know how that fits into this. Because it seemed like Shia was like, you know, being the violinist, that he was possibly controlling the puppeteer. So maybe that's his Nen. Maybe that's his. Because it looked like Nefa wasn't doing anything. So I have to assume that that's not her Nen. And she was like, I want to develop something. I don't think she's developed her Nen yet. So I think that I think the test tubes and stuff like that were a way to fix. She used that word. The other episode, to sort of put Kite back together. I don't even like talking about this because I'm so pissed off he's dead. Fuck's sake. And then yeah. So it's we're probably going to see a fight between Nefa and her. I mean, the way that she was talking about it, it was clear that she was like that Nefa was like, you know, that the fight that they had was going on a bit. There was actually some challenge there. It's just not going to be anymore. There's no way that puppeteer is going to be anything like the original. There's no way. For there is like whole bullshit. But yeah, I think Shia was the puppeteer with the violin. Because otherwise, I don't know what the fuck was happening. I don't know what that thing is. If it's not Shia's Nen, then it's a grunt or a fucking or a captain or a squadron leader or whatever the fuck that is. It's an actual thing that's puppeteering him, and then that's even less worthy of a fight with Nefa, then, isn't it? Because there's no way. I think either way, Nefa's just going to be disappointed in the result of trying to fight Kite again, because I just don't think it's going to happen. She wants to fight him at his fucking full strength again. I figured that they even put back on the other arm as well, so it would even be like 2 arms. Sure, he went up against him like in a fair fight when he had 1 arm. So, you know, but even then, it's just not going to be the same. And the fact is that because he's being puppeteered, he can't use his Nen. Like, Kite can't use, you know, the puppeteer can't make Kite use his Nen, right? So, although I don't know. If it is Shia's Nen that's doing it, if he is a specialist as well, because I would be thinking like what the fuck that would be, but it could be a manipulator, I suppose. He would have to be a manipulator, right? If he is a specialist as well, it's possibly like all these guys. I feel like there's so many specialists. I feel like there's so many. I thought they were supposed to be rare, but like I feel like there's just lots. There's loads. Because I'm thinking there'll be like, there's Krollo, Neon, Kurapika when he's in his got his cutter eyes on show. Nov could be a specialist, because I mean that's not confirmed, but I feel like he could be considering what it is. But because we did figure out that it's actually a physical place, because there's no way you'll be able to be calling somebody from a different dimension, right? I just don't think that's not going to be how it works. So that had to be a portal to another physical place, meaning that Nov's power could technically be like transmuting, but it still could be specialist. So I'm just counting him in anyway. Neferpito, Shia could be, for all we know. I mean the new guy, Menthu, even though they call him Yuppie or whatever. I guess I would call him Yuppie. He could be just enhancer just because he's big and broad and he's just strong, I guess. But then, I don't know, because if I'm thinking that Neferpito's a specialist, and however the fuck she's gotten that, I have no idea. If Shia is, which I'm trying to gather, like, if he's the one controlling the puppeteer, then either I believe he'll be a manipulator, or he'll be a specialist as well. So if he is a specialist, that means at least two out of the three royal guards are specialists. I'm beginning to think that all three are going to be specialists, just by, being 2 out of 3. I just feel like maybe just because they're royal guards, they're born special. So, that's my thought process there. So yeah, that like Krollo, Neon, Nov, Kurapika, Nefer, Shia, and Yuppie. That's already 7. And I was like, I mean, I feel like we know if that is the case, right? And if that's actually true, and there is actually at least 7 specialists right now. I'm trying to think if there's any other that we've seen. I don't know, but if there is 7, then that's mad, because then we know more specialists than we know emitters. We know like more specialists than we know transmuters. We know more specialists than we do conjurers. I mean, that's granted of characters that have literally said they are what they are. Characters that we've come across that haven't really said what they are, but they are like, whatever. Hashtag example. Then that's the thing. It's just like, it's just crazy. Like when I think about like the characters that we have sort of come across and whatnot, that the rate of specialists that are cropping up seems a hell of a lot. So, yeah. What else? Yeah, so we had the fight with obviously Knuckle, where Gone's rock paper scissors was pointing out that had 2 weaknesses. I'm actually surprised that they're like, I'm very surprised that Gon and Killua are surprised by that, because I'm granted of like, I've talked in some like reactions before of other shows where I've been like, there's such thing as anime time, right, where a scene can go on for 10 minutes of an episode, but in real time, like, half a minute has passed. Like, maybe not that bad, but like, even then, because they can go into flashbacks and stuff, and they monologue and stuff, and less time's actually occurred than what actually has. So, with that out of the way, if that is not what is happening with Gon's attack, then it's very slow, and like the enemy seems to always know it's coming. Every time he's used it, like the people around him that are witnessing it are witnessing it, him actually doing it. So in an actual fight, it hasn't really come into play much. Like, he used it in the dodgeball match, which was fine because they had the ball, so they had all the time in the world to do it, right? So that was fine. He used it against Genthru, who couldn't move anywhere, right? He was trapped up against a wall. He used it against one of the one of the bugs, one of the ants in the and that was like about 8 episodes ago or something like that, against Yunju's guy, right? The guy with loads of arms. He used it against him, but it was it sort of caught the guy off guard, and I feel like he used it twice, right? How fast was the first one that he did? I feel like it was quicker than the other ones, but I still feel like if someone's expecting it, they can easily dodge it. And the second one, like the guy, like he was on edge. You know, that was actually the longest one he'd ever done, because he was like there for like half an episode, just fucking winding it up. And but it's definitely like I'm surprised that Gon or Killua's even like confused or like shocked that there's a weakness, because it's slow. Like if you're in an actual fight and you know that what he does, you can dodge that easily, especially how fast Knuckle is. So there's that. But he says there's 2 weaknesses. The only thing I can really gather would probably be the fact that he calls it out and he knows it, like so you know what's coming. It's not like so aside from the fact that it's slow, so it's not a surprise. Calling it out, it's even less of a surprise. It's got to be that. Yeah. Because weren't they talking about how there was something like, and I feel like this was a while ago. Like this could have been like 50 episodes ago or something. There was some talk about Nen and the ability that like some people can just do it with like without seeing anything, and then there are those that like sort of use it by doing chants and things like almost like spells, and like they say things for things to do what they do. So that's like my reasoning and why that's the second weakness. But I don't know. I feel like they're too similar. The fact that it's slow and he shouts it out, But I don't know. I'm trying to think what the second one is. Speaking of the slow one, like the slow one, the fact that it's slow, I wonder how effective his paper attack is going to be, because that's the emitter one, right? I mean, if you're attacking from range, it's not really going to be all that effective especially if the opponent knows it's coming. Like, it's like, oh, you're going to fire at me, are you? Right, well, I'll just... you know what I mean? I'll just focus on fucking dodging it then. I suppose it depends on how quick the projectile would be, I suppose. And not really the charge up. Yeah. I don't know. But... so what else? Yeah, so the whole thing of like... I found it funny considering the fact I was talking about a battle of attrition like earlier on in the episode, and then later on when they were they were figuring out where all the ants had gone, they all held up in the castle. Then they said, well, they'll have to come out for food because of nutrition for the queen at some point. So they come up with the battle of attrition again. It's good, you know what I mean? It was just funny. But yeah, it's a good point. Like they have to come out. The main goal is to get the king born, and without the nutritional sort of value that, I mean, that being said, like you've got Kite in there. Like after I don't know, after Nefa's like done with them for like the second time, I don't even know if they're gonna have any use for him. Like can you imagine the queen eating him? Like Puckle's one thing, but fucking Kite's got to be like on another level. Not that I want to say that, to be honest. But like I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Has she eaten Puckle yet? I don't even know. But considering the fact that the king's already fucking moving around in there, like he's got to be getting close, and I'm sure Kite would fucking be great towards that. Can't believe I'm saying that because I don't want that to be the case. Um. So yeah, they were attacking multiple ants at once as well. I figured that out, and like the one ant was like getting sort of confused. He couldn't really pick up on what was being said because so many were speaking at once, meaning that they would have to have been attacked at the same time. Which yeah makes sense. Consider the fact that like he's going up against grunts and fucking and you know the basically the low life that don't have a chance against him. It's just gonna. I mean, and we're not really seeing him fight. And I feel like that's on purpose because there's no point watching him fight against these fucking grunts that he's going to take out in one hit and not even struggle with. I feel like if we do get to see him fight, it's going to be up against one of the, you know, it's going to probably be up against the Royal Guard, let's be honest. And by the looks of it, it's probably going to be Yuppie. I feel like they're setting that up because the fact is that with him being the last born. And the fact that he came out, like, he got the epic entrance with the violin playing. The other, even Peter didn't even get an epic entrance really. Well, she kind of did, but it was like you didn't really see it happening. It kind of just happened. Like, you know, she was born, and then everyone got everyone felt it. Like, everyone felt the aura, then immediately came out and was like, what the fuck just happened? Ramo, even more so. But, like, you know, he got, like, a true sort of fucking entrance. So I feel like, judging by, you know, the way that anime is, and the sort of storytelling of it, I feel like he's probably the one. He's probably going to be the first in a battle between him and Netero, possibly. I feel like that's going to be the case. Shia doesn't really seem like a fighter to me. I mean, well, not that we've seen much from him, but I don't know. Because if that is his Nen that he was using there with the violin, then it means that he uses things to fight for him. But so yeah, we'll have to see. Yeah, so I had Bisky, who basically had gotten them to get to a point where they could keep on projecting their Ren for 3 hours without breaking a sweat, and not even realizing they were doing it. At that point, she would have allowed them to rest up for the fight and not have to go in completely knackered and fucked. But what she was hoping for was, at that point, it would have been enough, because they had rested, that they would force Knuckle to go out at full strength, and then still make them lose. That's what it seemed like. Now, just because of the fact that there's only like a day left, right? So I have to assume then that Gon and Killua aren't really going to lose, and that they're actually going to win. Now, that being said, like, they need to go get shoot. Like, they need to get him. You know what I mean? The fact is that he's a coward. Like, what's stopping him from just not fighting and fucking over Gon and Killua that way? You know what I mean? I don't know. I guess the whole point is, like, they take care of Knuckle, and then Knuckle takes them to him, and that's how it's going to work. Though if Shoot just decide to go somewhere else and not, and, you know, conceal his presence and whatever the fuck, then I don't know. What's stopping him from doing that? Because as long as oh no, because Shoot would have to get the token from the kids, right? So he would have to attack at some point. But if he knows what's going on in the NGL, why would he want to? So what's stopping him from just being like, no, I'm not going there. Fuck it, I'll not fight. But if it is that late, then I would have to assume that they have to take on. They would have to beat Knuckle and Shoot in this fight, right? But then if that's the case, then they're not really going to be taught that lesson that they wanted them to. Because she never really said, like, I mean, it was implied. It was heavily implied that she was like, the point is they'll lose. At full strength, they still lose. I'm sure that's what she was implying. Because she was like, talking about lessons and stuff and then win or lose, right? Although maybe if she was telling it that way, then maybe it's something else, but what could it be? I know she was like, the subtitles were something like they would have to figure out each other, like, each other's weaknesses, right? So, getting guns, that's great. If Knuckle knows what's going on, then it's like they were always gonna tell them their weaknesses and then figure out how to overcome that weakness, so they don't have one. Maybe that's it. Who the fuck knows? Oh god. Yeah, so even Gohan said that Knuckle was possibly on par with Kite physically. Not physically, not like, you know. I mean, but the thing is, though, remember, like, Kite was... I mean, he never really was physical. Like, his attacks were very... Well, first of all, they were sporadic, and he didn't know what the fuck was going on with them. Because anything could have come out. There was some melee stuff. There was range stuff. Could have been anything. Physically, it could just be speed. I don't know if because Gohan and Kite didn't really fight, and we never really saw Kite fight with his fists or anything like that. So I don't know. It's got to be just speed he was talking about. Had to be. And then finally, Shoot at the very beginning said that he was a UMA hunter. What the fuck is that? What is that? I don't even know if I want to look it up because it might just ruin something. But he said an UMA. Or an Uma hunter, whatever the fuck that is. So I have no idea what that is. I was thinking it was some kind of assassin hunter. Well, it wouldn't even be that, would it? It wouldn't be an assassin hunter. It would just be a... I don't know. Because they're known as assassins, but they don't act like it, though, do they? They don't act like assassins at all. So I haven't got a clue. I can't believe he's a coward, though. I don't know where. I don't understand the reasoning why Morel picked him up. The only reason I can possibly gather is that he wants them to be there so he can try and change that ideology, like that, you know, like change that thing about him. It just doesn't seem to match up with Morel's. That's all it is. So it's a crazy one. But yeah, that's all I've got. So thank you everyone for watching. In the description below I'll link certain things. One of them is the Discord, so you can get yourself over there. And I also have a Patreon page as well, so if you don't support me on Patreon, that'd be very much appreciated. There is a bunch of different tiers and rewards depending on how much you want to support me with. So there's the early access tier there, $5 a month, gives you access to shows a week early, and you get 4 episodes of Hunter x Hunter every week. That is 2 on Monday and 2 on Friday. The general public get access to 2 episodes a week. So by the time this episode comes out on YouTube for the general public, you could go over to my Patreon, become an early access tier patron, and actually have access to like the rest of this show's reactions. You know, because I can't remember actually. You know what? I don't usually do this, but I need to see what episode is out. Yeah, so episode 48 is the latest episode out as I'm recording this. But obviously because I record 2 extra videos in the weeks that 2 episodes get uploaded to the general public, means that, you know, I'm basically making more videos than I'm releasing every week. So yeah, by the time this episode comes out to the general public, I'll probably be finished the whole show. So if you can binge watch the rest of the show in a month, then you will only have to pay $5 for the rest of the reactions to the show, which is a pretty good deal. There's also a full-length tier there for $10 a month, though you don't need that because this show is full-length anyway, but for other shows you will need that. The other tiers and everything like that are, you know, there are tiers where you can pay to have shows, like a certain show reacted to. So if you want me to react to a show, then you can go have a look at that and see what the deal is with that. But that was all I've got. So thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.